Welcome back, Brave Frontier fans. I'm trying something different. I'm going to be using some different backgrounds as I come across them. This one's actually several years old, and it features units that we used to know back when they only had a couple of stars in their names. It was done by DeviantArt artist Akira Silverberg. I'll put a link in the video. So, anyways, a couple of things. I recently got one of these Jeu'vrr's hearts. I'm assuming it's Jeu'vrr's heart. Land of apostrophe area, I guess. You actually get this from the guild hall, and then you buy the guild pieces from the guild hall, and they're overall really expensive. I believe to get all of these items here, not including the honor drops, it's just under 12,000 guild points. And then after this, there's actually another step up, which is even more expensive. I like this one because it does give you +1 to your normal hit amount. It also says that it activates a guild raid skill. That does nothing because guild raids, and thus the guild raid skills, have not been implemented yet. Still a fun little sphere though, and it'll only get better as I work on it. One of the things I was noticing is that there's a lot of spheres that I really haven't messed with, especially in Raid. And that's an area that I could really improve on, so I'll be working on that. I do know that I could probably get rid of some of these sacred, or these medulla gems and leg wands, because I'm probably not going to ever need a whole bunch of malice jewels. But one can hope and dream. That's one thing I need to be working on. And then there's just so many other gems that I could be working on at some point. So many other spheres. But it can be tricky to prioritize things, and it's easy to become overwhelmed. And the one thing I like about this game is it is a game that you can kind of play for bits and pieces of time at the day and not worry too much about it. So we'll see what happens from there. All the items that I could craft that I probably should just sell. I find that the tokens you get from raiding for the slots machine usually gives you enough of these items as it is. Another thing I did want to show off, if I can find it here. Helps if I narrow down my search options here. Anyways, there's a lot of units that I need to work on leveling up, and a few that I've gotten there. But I've actually completed Zenia. And I think that for those that are using Zenia, this is going to be kind of a standard setup, although they're probably going to use a better secondary sphere than Obsidian Core. And in fact, I've seen people use two completely different spheres and get that attack up to 20,000. It's doable, but at that point I'm just not sure how useful it is. But some people seem to feel that's the way to go with it. Yesterday I did a video where I basically said, look, this unit isn't bad, get over yourselves, you guys are complaining way too much. I still hold to the fact that people are complaining way too much. But having the opportunity to speak with a lot of different people about it, I understand where the disconnect is. In this day and age, we like our units to be able to hold on to different roles. We like them to be flexible. Zenia isn't really flexible. She does one thing well, and that's normal hit attacking. There is some content that can be cheesed because of her ability to nuke with her normal attacks. Unfortunately, that's about all she does. And I do feel that she does that way better than Arc does. Arc being a popular unit that also adds additional attacks. But Arc is much more flexible right out of the box, and that's before you have to buy those SP options. So, don't really feel that a petition is necessary. I don't feel a petition has ever worked with Gummy I know that once they changed Hatteron because of some complaints, but that was to make him worse, not better. So your mileage may vary. One of the things that I kind of came to terms with while we were discussing some of the changes to this new unit is that, truth be told, I'm not particularly good at this game. And that's okay. I think this is a game that's very casual friendly. Just as some people feel that the trick to playing this game is spending all of your money on the best units, I feel that it's very possible to play this game by looking at the content that comes out and deciding which of the units you have can be used to pass it. Obviously, that requires the ability to know how to make a team, how to adjust a team, and a lot more error than trial. But that playstyle has worked for me. I try not to be one of those people that says, "Can you create my party for me?" Even as sometimes I find myself saying, "Hey, any suggestions?" But there's plenty of people that love creating parties and love talking to people about it, so in that it works pretty well. The other thing that I wanted to point out is I haven't made it to the third arc yet. I've been slowly working on it, but every time I think, hey, maybe I can do this, another vortex comes out, or I need some more materials to evolve somebody into their Omni form, and before you know it, all that energy's spent. Which is, in some ways, unfortunate, because I would like to experience that content, but in some ways fortunate, because that means I can continue to use my Omni units. It's no secret that in that third arc, 5-star units, and to an extent 6-star units, become king. You start looking at the best units in those tiers as opposed to the best units overall. That's another element that I feel in some ways actually balances the playing field for those that are free to play, that have a lot of older units that were good but never received an Omni, or in some cases even a 7-star. At any rate, at this point I think what I'm going to be focusing on when it comes to videos is showing off what I've discovered and what I know, discussing what I've learned from certain communities. I'm going to be taking a back seat from the whole parading a unit or dissenting against something. In part because I feel enough people are already doing that, but also because it's kind of pointless. Why? All it does is gets me worked up and gets you worked up over a game, and I don't feel that that's a good use of my time, and I'm pretty sure it's not a good use of yours. Let's have fun. If you're not having fun, then it's not really a game, and if it's not a game, why bother playing it? So I'm going to go ahead and cheese through some of this content. For those of you who feel that I was personally slighting you, my apologies. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.